Good morning, Year 9. I hope you're well and having a lovely day. Please could you write the date and the title of Men Discussing Marriage. For this lesson you'll need a copy of the extract which is on class charts, or a copy of the whole play if you have one, access to YouTube to watch a clip of the scene, as well as a summary of the scene's events to help you, and different coloured pens or highlighters. So pause the video to make sure you have everything you need. For your do now, I'd like you to write down as many quotations as you can remember from Beatrice and Benedict's argument in Act 1, Scene 1. So pause the video for 5 minutes to do that now. Okay, so these are some of the quotes you may have come up with. If you didn't get any at all, please could you write down at least 3. So, today's focus. Who is Claudio? What is the difference between Claudio and Benedict's view on marriage? So please could you watch this clip from Act 1, Scene 1, where the men discuss marriage. Write down your first impressions of Claudio, and also the differences between him and Benedict. So please pause the video for 5 minutes to do that now. So what's the history of the relationship between Claudio and Hero? Claudio shows us that he has known Hero before the war, but couldn't have focused on her then as he had a job in hand. When you went onward on this unended action, I looked upon her with a soldier's eye that liked but had a rougher task in hand than to drive liking to the name of love. Now he's back and has no such distractions. We don't hear anything about Hero's opinions on the matter. What I'd like you to do next is, using your extract or your copy of the play, highlight quotations where Claudio presents his feelings about Hero and explore what the language chosen suggests. You've also got a glossary to help you with some potentially unfamiliar language. So please pause the video for 10 minutes to do that now. So these are some things you may have picked out. Hero's qualities are modesty, youth, innocence and sweetness. Claudio doesn't mention much about her personality. We can see this from him referring to her as a modest young lady. You may notice that this contrasts quite vividly with her cousin Beatrice, who is very sharp-witted, determined, speaks her mind, so has a sparkling, vibrant, independent personality, whereas Hero is pretty much the opposite of her, being sweet and innocent. He also says, "Can the world buy such a jewel?" This is an interesting metaphor. The choice of a jewel suggests that Hero is valuable, but also an object. Consider that this suggests ownership, a daughter owned by her father until given away to her husband. This is indicative of how women were often viewed at that time. So, Claudio, "Hath Leonato any son, my lord?" Don Pedro, "No child but Hero, she's his only heir." So, later Claudio checks that Hero has no brothers. This means she'll inherit all of Leonato's money. So, using these ideas and quotations, write a couple of sentences where you explore how Claudio feels about marriage. Spend 5 minutes doing that, so pause the video now, please. So, context of cuckolding. So, symbolism of a bullhorn. Men being whipped in marriage, men with cheating wives, a wild animal. In Elizabethan times, people would joke that men with unfaithful wives could be spotted by the horns growing from their heads. They were known as a cuckold. So can you please make a note of that in your books? So what does Benedict think of marriage? Make notes in the quotes below. "Because I will not do them the wrong to mistrust any, I will do myself the right to trust none. And the fine is, for the which I may go finer, I will live a bachelor. That will needs thrust thy neck into a yoke, wear the print of it and sigh away Sundays. Well, if time shall try, in time the savage bull doth bear the yoke. The savage bull may, but if ever the sensible Benedict bear it, pluck off the bull's horns and set them in my forehead." So pause the video now for 10 minutes to make notes on the quotes below. What do you think they mean? What do they tell us about Benedict's thoughts on marriage? He has quite a strong opinion. So what is Benedict's attitude towards marriage? I'd like you to answer the question with reference to quotations on the previous slide. Make sure you pick out individual words to focus on in your analysis. So pause the video for 5 minutes to do that now. Okay, so this is the kind of thing you should have come up with. Benedict thinks that getting married is like deliberately torturing yourself. In Act 1, Scene 1, he says, "Thou wilt needs thrust thy neck into a yoke, wear the print of it, and sigh away Sundays." The word thrust shows how eagerly people agree to marriage, despite the fact that it is a heavy burden. He uses the metaphor of a yoke to suggest that men in marriage are tied down and restricted to spend their time with their wives when they could be doing other things, suggesting he would prioritize freedom over marriage. So let's reflect for 10 minutes. What is the difference between Claudio and Benedict's view on marriage? Make a table comparing the way the two men feel about marriage and make sure you include evidence. So pause the video for 10 minutes to do this now. Despite Benedict's disinterest, Don Pedro is prepared to help his friend Claudio and come up with a plan to woo Hero for him. But how do I win Hero? All I know is the language of war, not the language of love. I know we shall have revelling tonight. I will assume thy part in some disguise, and tell fair Hero I am Claudio, and in her bosom I'll unclasp my heart, and take her hearing prisoner with the force of my loving tale. Then after to her father will I break, and the conclusion is, she shall be thine. So well done for your work today. Next time we'll be focusing on Don Pedro's half-brother, Don John, considering how he presented as the villain. So thank you very much, and I will see you next time.